Have you ever felt like you're doing everything you're supposed to, but you just keep hitting the same invisible wall? It's that exhausting feeling of being stuck, right? No matter how hard you push. Well, today, we're going to get into exactly why that happens. And the answer, it lies in a fundamental law of reality that most of us have completely backwards.
So let's just ask it directly. Why? Why do those same painful patterns keep showing up? In your relationships, in your finances, in your career, it feels personal, but it's not. To get to the bottom of it, we have to flip one of our most basic beliefs right on its head. The idea that your circumstances create your feelings.
And this is the whole game right here. We're all taught that the outside world happens to us, and then we feel a certain way about it. But what if that's not how it works at all? What if your internal feeling is actually the cause, not the effect? Realizing this is the key. It's the source of all that frustration, but it's also, thankfully, the way out.
So let's start by just putting a name to this thing. Let's call it the invisible wall. It's that feeling, like there's a pane of glass between you and the life you can see so clearly. It creates this very specific kind of burnout that comes from trying and trying, but never quite breaking through.
I mean, does any of this sound familiar? You work harder, but you keep hitting that exact same financial number. You find yourself in relationships that feel weirdly like the last one. You get that sense of just being constantly overlooked, no matter what you do. It's like you're swimming with all your might against a current you can't even see. These aren't just random bad luck. They're symptoms. They're all pointing to the same root cause.
And here's the most important part to get right now. You've already tried changing your actions. You've changed the strategies, you've read the books, you've done the things, and yet the core pattern is still there. This isn't a personal failure. This is not your fault. The exhaustion you feel is real because you've been fighting an invisible force we're about to make visible. Okay, so to understand this invisible force, we actually need to zoom way out from our personal problems for a minute and look at the physics of how reality itself works. This means we've got to make a little shift in our thinking, from seeing the world as a machine to seeing it as a field of energy. So on the left, you have the old way of seeing things, the mechanical world. Right? The universe is just a big collection of separate, solid objects, and if you want to change something, you have to apply physical force. But on the right, you have the quantum view, the energetic world, and in this view, the universe is this giant, interconnected web of energy. You aren't separate from it, you're an inseparable part of it. And in this world, change doesn't happen by force. It happens through something called resonance. What this really means is that on the most fundamental level, there aren't any things at all. It's all just vibrating energy, information, pure potential. The solid world we see is just energy vibrating at a frequency our senses can pick up. You are literally a walking, talking, thinking field of energy.
So how does this energetic universe communicate? Through resonance. Just think of it like this. If you have two tuning forks that are made for the same note and you strike one of them, the other one, across the room, will start to vibrate all by itself. No one touched it. It just responds to a matching frequency. Well, your dominant emotional state is that first tuning fork, constantly sending out a signal. And all this time, you've been trying to run across the room to physically push that other tuning fork, when all you ever had to do was change your own vibration.
Okay, so if the universe is just responding to our signal, our frequency, what's actually creating it? This is where we get really practical. We leave the world of physics and jump right into the biology of how you, as a human, are broadcasting your reality into existence every single second. It all starts with something as small as a recurring thought, just a little electrical impulse in your brain. But that thought triggers a release of chemicals in your body, and that's what we call an emotion. Now, if you keep that emotional state going for a while, it becomes a mood. And if you keep that mood going for weeks or months or years, it eventually hardens into your temperament. Your body has literally memorized that feeling. And here it is. This is the hidden engine driving the whole thing. Your body cells actually become accustomed to, even addicted to, that familiar cocktail of chemicals. And yes, that includes painful states like anxiety or frustration or struggle. So on an unconscious level, your body will literally seek out people and situations that reproduce that familiar feeling just to get its chemical fix. The pattern runs itself on autopilot.
This creates what we can call the mixed signal problem. Consciously with your thinking mind, you want abundance, love, success. But your body, your subconscious, is broadcasting the only frequency it knows by heart, the familiar feeling of lack, loneliness, or struggle. The universe isn't confused. It's not judging you. It's just a giant tuning fork, and it simply has to respond to the louder, more powerful, more consistent signal. And that signal is coming from your body.
So, how on earth do we change this broadcast? This is where everything shifts. The answer isn't to try harder or to fight the pattern. The answer is to change your entire point of view, to shift your very identity, moving from being a prisoner of your past programming to becoming the architect of your future. See, for most of your life, you've probably identified with the feeling. You say, I am anxious. You believe you are the storm. You're the actor completely lost in the drama. The shift, the great secret, is to realize you are not the experience. You are the awareness in which the experience is happening. You're not the anxiety. You are the one who is aware of the anxiety. You're not the storm. You're the sky watching the storm pass. You're not the actor. You're the audience watching the show. This is it. This might be the most powerful and liberating distinction you will ever make in your entire life. That whole loop of thoughts and feelings and reactions, it's all happening inside of you, but it is not you. That anxiety is just a storm cloud passing through the vast, silent, unchanging sky of your awareness. And you are the sky. So, what does this awareness actually do? It's not about fighting or fixing. It just works like a light. See, a conditioned pattern only has power over you as long as it runs in the dark, unconsciously. The second you shine the light of neutral, non-judgmental awareness on it, the second you just see it without trying to change it, it starts to lose its power. It begins to dissolve. By becoming this observer, you create a tiny gap, a little pause between what happens out there and your body's automatic, conditioned reaction. And in that quiet space, that moment of stillness, for the very first time, you have a real choice. Your entire freedom is born in that pause. And this changes everything. You go from being a victim of your programming to becoming the conscious programmer. Your focus completely shifts. You stop trying to control the world outside, and you turn your attention inward to the disciplined, moment-by-moment practice of cultivating your internal state. You're not trying to rearrange the reflection in the mirror anymore. You realize you are the light creating the image in the first place. So, we'll end here, but for you, this is just the beginning. With this new lens, I want to leave you with one simple but incredibly revealing question to sit with. What is the dominant feeling, that quiet emotional signature that you now realize your body has been unconsciously broadcasting out into the world as your truth for so long? Just naming it, without any judgment, that is the first true act of a conscious creator.